This is part 3 of a mini-series where I go over all of the items and blocks in Minecraft and explain what is and isn't renewable. I strongly recommend watching the first 2 parts as I will not be repeating myself, nor will I be going over the same blocks or items again. In this video, I will be going over the interactive blocks tab and the redstone tab. And in the next video, I will be going over the utilities and combat tabs respectively. Also, please do keep in mind that I am a dumbass and will likely make mistakes. And if I happen to make a mistake, then please tell me how much of a fuck up I am in the comments. Now, with all of that out the way, let's get into it. Alright, let's get this started with the interactive blocks. First things first, the torches and lanterns, all renewable, simple, easy. For the torches, the stick, coal, and soul sand, all of it is renewable, as discussed before. And for the lanterns, to kind of build off the torches, as they need a torch and an iron nuggets, and all of these are renewable. Same thing with the soul lantern. So yeah, simple, easy. Next, redstone lamps. They are renewable, as glowstone and redstone are both renewable. Next, copper lamps. They are too renewable, as all the ingredients to make them, copper, redstone, and a blaze rod, all of it is renewable. Simple. Next, crafting tables. Well, I mean, they are made of the most renewable resource in the game, so of course it's renewable. Same goes for the stone cutter, that too is renewable, as well as the choreography, fletching, smithing, and grindstone. All of these items are renewable. I will also throw in the loom in there too, as I kind of consider all of these blocks kind of in the same category, but yeah, whatever. All of them are renewable, as all of the ingredients to make them are renewable. Simple, easy. Next, a furnace, smoker, and blast furnace. All of these are renewable, as they kind of require logs or cobblestone or whatever. All of them are made from renewable resources, making these renewable. Simple. Next, campfires and soul campfires, they are all renewable, as the way how you craft them, most of the resources to craft them are very similar to the torches, so they're renewable. Next, anvils. Anvils are mainly composed of iron, and iron is renewable, making anvils renewable. And you know what? Throw in the composter in there too, as they're all made from wood. Yeah, I'm going to try to speed through these, as a lot of these blocks are made from renewable resources, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory on what is and isn't renewable, so I will try to speed things up as I go along. Next up, a note block and a jukebox. Well, the note block is renewable, as it mainly composed of wood and a single piece of redstone, but a jukebox is not renewable because it requires a diamond, and diamonds are non-renewable. This also means that the enchanting table is non-renewable because it requires 2 diamonds to make, as the diamonds are what make it non-renewable. Ironically enough, end crystals are surprisingly renewable. All the items required to make it are renewable. Glass, gas tiers, eyes of ender, all of it can be renewed. And I bet you didn't expect that. Or at least most of you didn't. Moving on, brewing stands and cauldrons. Both of them are renewable. For the brewing stand, all you need is a blaze rod and cobblestone, and for the cauldron, you just need iron. All of these items are renewable. Simple, easy. Next up, the bell. Now the bell isn't actually renewable because there isn't actually a crafting recipe for it. In fact, the only way to get it is from villages. They spawned in naturally, and you only have a set number of them in each world. So, yeah, bells are, unrenewable. I am personally shocked by this, as I could have sworn there was some form of crafting recipe, but there isn't, so first time I'm shocked. Also, hey, so editing red here, so bells, they are renewable, but the way how you can acquire them, another way to acquire them is by trading with weaponsmiths. Yeah, almost let that one slip, but they're renewable. Okay, continue on with the video. Next up, beacons. Funny enough, they are actually renewable. And you may ask, well, they require nether star. Yeah, nether stars are renewable because wither heads are renewable. You can farm nether stars. Is it practical? Not really. Is it easy? No, not really, unless you're using some special mechanic, but I mean, beacons are renewable, funny enough, because diamonds aren't renewable. Yeah, I know, a strange game this is. And another item that is not renewable is conduits, because the main key item it requires to craft, the Heart of the Sea, is not renewable because you can only find them in buried treasure, and those are limited. Alright, well yeah, that was pretty simple. Next up, lodestones. Now lodestones is kind of a special case, as on the recent snapshot, they actually made this a renewable resource because instead of requiring a netherite to be made, it requires just iron. So this is now a renewable block as of the making of this video. Next up, ladders. Yeah, they're renewable. Same thing with scaffolding. I don't really think I need to explain it. I mean, here's the crafting recipe on screen. Everything required to make them are renewable, so these are renewable. Next up, suspicious sand and suspicious gravel. These are actually not renewable since they only spawn in naturally and you can't really hold them in your hands, so these are non-renewable. Next, lightning rods. These are renewable since they're mainly composed of copper and copper is renewable. Next up, flower pots and decorational pots. Now flower pots, they are renewable since clay and bricks are renewable. Just ignore the fact that I made an oopsie whoopsie long ago. But decorational pots, well yes, technically they are renewable since they are also made from bricks and clay. Some of the pictures that can be used to customize them are not renewable. So I would still classify them as renewable, but some variations of it are not. Kind of a little weird, but I mean, still follow some of the rules. Next up, armor stands. Yeah, they're renewable. Sticks and smooth stone are both renewable, so this is renewable. Next up, item frames and glow frames. Both of them are renewable since all items required to make them are renewable, simple, basic, easy. Next up, paintings. All the paintings in the game are renewable. Simple, done, easy. Next, bookshelves and chiseled bookshelves. Both of them are renewable. Bookshelves, I mean, here's the crafting recipe on everything required to make them. All of it is renewable, or if you're too lazy to craft it, you could just trade it with a villager. And with chiseled bookshelf, here's its recipe, and as you can tell, all of it is renewable. Simple, done, easy. Next, lecterns. Lecterns are renewable since its crafting recipe is simple and relies on a bookshelf, and as we discussed before, bookshelves are renewable. Done, easy. Next up, the signs. Yeah, it's renewable. I mean, basic signs is all mainly comprised of wood, and wood is renewable. Hanging signs, there are some chains, but they're made from iron, and iron is renewable. And you know what? We're going to throw in a barrel and a chest in there too, since they're mainly comprised of wood, and wood is renewable. And heck, let's throw in the ender chest in there too, since all of its ingredients are renewable as well. Next up, respawn anchors. Yeah, they're renewable. And you want to know why they're renewable? Because, say it with me, piglins. Alright, now I know this next item is a banner, and I've already said before that banners are renewable, but just for the funny, I'm just gonna say, hey, this ominous banner right here, it is renewable. And you could technically farm them, but I mean, it's not really practical since why would you farm them? I mean, these shows up in your raid farm, so yeah. Next up, the mob heads. Now, every single mob head is renewable except for the Ender Dragon, because that one, they only spawn in end cities, which makes it non-renewable since you can't craft it or farm it. Also, ignore this Steve head right here, you can't even get it in survival, so don't look at that. Next up, end portal frames and Eyes of Ender. Well, Ender portal frames, no, they're not really renewable, you can't even break them, they fall under bedrock. And Eyes of Ender, I mean, we've discussed several blocks beforehand that require Eyes of Ender, and they're renewable, so this makes it renewable. Yeah. And you know what? We're also going to throw in the vault in a similar category to the portal frames, since while you can break them, it's not really practical since it's more useful just having it there than broken. So, yeah. And yes, vaults are non-renewable since they only spawn in naturally and you can't really pick it up or craft it. Next up, the infested blocks. Now, the way how you make these, they're kind of special in a way. First, you can only use a specific selection of blocks. Next, you grab your block of choice, put it next to a silverfish, and after a while, a silverfish will bury itself into said block, making it infested. Now, silverfish are technically renewable as there are silverfish spawners spawning in next to end portals. So, yeah, you'll never run out of it unless you intentionally break every silverfish spawner in the world. And this is one of those types of blocks where, while yes, you can have an infinite amount of it, you can't really hold it. And assuming you do want to build with it, trying to set it up and build with it, it's kind of a pain since assuming your build is not next to a silverfish spawner, getting a silverfish from said spawner to your build can be a pain sometimes. So yes, this is technically renewable, but not practical to renew. But anyway, that is the final block in the interactive blocks tab. So that is done. Now we're going to be moving on to the redstone tab. First, redstone repeaters. Yeah, they're renewable. Every item required to make them are renewable. Same thing with redstone compactors. Next, target blocks. Yeah, they're renewable. Everything needed to craft them are renewable. Next, levers, buttons, and pressure plates. Every single one of them are renewable. We are really flying past these today. Actually, you know what? Let's do a speed round. Tripwires, strings, daylight sensors, pistons, sticky pistons, dispensers and droppers, crafting tables and crafters, hoppers, observers, all rails, all minecarts, all boats, all doors, all fence gates, all trap doors, and TNT, they are all renewable. Told you I was going to do a speed round. Also, I forgot to mention this before the speed round, but the calibrated skulk sensor is also renewable. And that is it. That is both the interactive blocks tab and the redstone tab done. In the next video, I will be going over the utilities and combat tab respectively. So, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like. If not, consider leaving a dislike. And hey, while you're in the process of liking/disliking, maybe consider subscribing too. Either way, I hope you have a great rest of your day.